Hello, welcome to Robert's Pianos Oxford. I'm Marcus. This video features nearly every piano we have in stock. They're roughly in descending price order, with grand pianos first. Pianos that have just come in can be found via a link below. There's usually a more detailed video of each piano too. You can use the time links to jump between different pianos. Please subscribe if you'd like to receive our videos as soon as they're released. Thank you.
Hello. This is the second lockdown in England, and as with the first, we're offering to deliver pianos to you to try. You pay 1 month's rental and then you can have the piano for a month, and then all the rental will come off the purchase price, or you could have a longer rental period if you prefer. We're going to take a brief look at every piano, starting with the top of the stock list and then working downwards. This is a Steinway Model B, made in 1910, 210 centimeters long, and it's been restored in every detail. The piano is pristine, has new key tops, and the casework has just been redone, so it's absolutely perfect. It does make it more difficult for us to rent out, in the sense that you'd have to keep it perfect, but if you want to write to us if you're interested in the piano, we can see what we can manage to do. And as you can see, internally is fully restored. It's like a new piano. It has a totally new Steinway authentic action in it, and as you can see, it's perfect. I'm not taking the action out on this video, but if you're interested in the piano, I could make a separate video for you. So, being quite a long piano, it's got a very rich, warm tone. If you have a small room, then you can bring the acoustics down by putting absorbent material, carpets, curtains, drapes, tapestries, and you get a wonderful bass, obviously, with a long piano. So if you're a musician and would like that sound, then there's no reason why you shouldn't have it in a smaller room. And we refine the touch so that it plays very, very sensitively. This is a Yamaha C2 made in 2006. I won't be showing the casework on all the pianos just to save time, but there are videos of individual pianos and they're also photographs, so you can see that on our stock list. Very precise piano. Hardly used at all, as you'll see from the other video. Again, this is pristine, so if you did want to rent the piano, just write to us and we'll see if we can help. Obviously, we need to turn over during lockdown, so it's important for us to try and serve you if we can. I've got quite an extensive video of this Schimmel, which also has a PianoDisc system. So just briefly, it's ivory white coloured, again pretty pristine, though not quite perfect. So you could certainly rent it if you want to try it out. It would be an ideal wedding piano too. That's what I've got it in stock for, but with the moment with the lockdown, there's not likely to be weddings in the near future, so we'll be very happy to sell it. We've reduced the price on all the pianos, and especially this one, for that reason. This is the Bluthner Style VIII grand piano, Alicot scaling, made in 1899. A very, very attractive case. Again, there are photographs of this on the website, so just going to, the idea of this video is to give you a brief listen to each piano. Typically rich and warm Bluthner. This is a Bechstein Model B, made in 1911, 2 meters long, and what we call Sheraton style casework. There's photographs of this, so I'm not going to do more than just play it at the moment. And it needs some refining still. We've got quite a lot of technical work to do,
The leads in the keys, for instance, we want to change them all because they're oxidizing a bit. The touch also needs sourcing out. That'll obviously be done with the leads as well, because we're trying to refine them to make them feel like new pianos. Beautiful tone. Really very, very grateful to get this piano into stock. It's a beautiful sounding piano. At the moment it's too bright as well, but the hammer's almost 100% hammer on it, so that's very good news. It has been restored, but the leads have since oxidized, so very powerful, and will be very sensitive when we finish the action. This is a Bluthner Style 6 grand piano, 175 centimeters long, made in 1912, and it has been restored and French polished as well. Our polish has just improved slightly the casework. It's not perfect, but it's very, very integral and extremely pleasing to look at. And as you'd expect from a Bluthner Style 6, is just a very warm tone. Very consistent pianos, Bluthner's. Of course, it has a patent action, which is slightly different from a normal action. We've talked about that in many other videos. So the purpose of this video is not to talk about each piano, but just to give you an idea, so that if you do want to try a piano out, you can come back to us and we can make a longer video of individual pianos as well. Very even sound. I haven't managed to make a separate video of this intriguing piano yet. Been looking forward to doing so, because I'm going to dwell on it a bit longer. This is a Gebrüder Knacke made in 1905, 85 keys. It's not perfect on the outside, but the casework, again, my polisher's made good, so I think it's very pleasing. But there's something very special about it. It's semicircular. It's only 145 centimeters long. For a short piano, it's got a wonderful tone, and that impressed me tremendously. Not just as the piano's semicircular, but the frame is too, well, circular. Just feast your eyes on that. It's something I'm really pleased to get in. The lid does also fold down normally if you prefer that. I was also very impressed with this leg style. There are photos on our website as well. It's also got a remarkable tone for a small piano. I'm very impressed with it indeed. It's mellow sounding, but it has a lot of power as well. This is a Steinway Model K made in 1908. Very interesting casework, very well finished off, not much to do on the case. We did an assessment video that's just come in actually, so little bits of work to do on it. Refinements of touch, as we've always mentioned before, but I'm very impressed with the piano. This is a Steingraeber made in 1905, 135 centimeters tall. There's many superlatives to say about this piano. I've made a separate video of it, so please refer to that if you would like to find out more information. But has a very full tone indeed. Also plays very sensitively.
This is the caps, Ernst caps, and one of my favourite styles of caps. We've sold a couple of these before, just beautiful Art Deco style, beautiful inlay here. We've been working on this piano, it's been refining it for a long time just to get the touch and tone right. Also reconditioning the inside, we've changed the key tops. This has a very beautiful tone. My favourite model of caps, it's 88 notes, some capses are 85 notes, so it's one that we're particularly looking for. And it's a later caps, about 1930, so one of the latest capses in existence really. And this is a very unusual piano for us to have in stock. The piano casework is a cider, perhaps 1895 or so, and inside the piano, you'll see on its own video, is a Reid-Sohn. So it's been totally transformed on the inside. The idea of getting that was because we're perhaps thinking about Feurich, because they do a piano without a case, which they can supply to the trade, and then we can put an old case on it. So if you have an old piano, and you'd like a modern, well-made piano inside, as the Feurich 123 is, one of the best there is, then that's a possibility, so please let us know. As regards this piano, it's like a Reid-Sohn really, but very pretty. As you can see, it's wonderful walnut and wonderful inlay. This is a new Feurich 133. Feurich's tallest piano, also has a lot of legroom if you're a tall person. And of course, with being a big piano, has a potentially big sound as well. And a very warm bass. That's the bass strings are longer than a lot of small grands. And this is a new Feurich 122. We sell a lot of these pianos there. This is a chrome finished one, there's chrome and brass, and we can get them if you are thinking we might run out, so don't worry, we can get chrome or brass at relatively short notice, even during the lockdown. This is a Yamaha U3H made in 1970. It's been fully restored. It's pristine, or practically pristine. Has a mellow sound, but also can be bright when you want it to. And very refined touch. We always refine the touch on all of these. Very often when we get them in, we have to refine them quite a bit. And in fact, I've noticed on my sheet here that we have to refine it quite considerably. So that's something we'll always do, just to get the touch weight. 50 grams in the center, 52 in the bass, 48 in the treble, plus or minus 2 grams we managed to get in of that. But it's a beautiful instrument, wonderful tone. It's a Yamaha U3G made in 1972. The G series is slightly mellower, we find. I've always liked them very much. By the way, the tone of these older Yamahas, I think, is far superior to a lot of much newer pianos. The touch will be slightly varied when we get them in, so we refine the touch so that it's 50 grams in the centre, 48 in the treble and 52 in the bass, as I've mentioned many times before. That way it plays just like a new piano. The Feurich is a very well adjusted touch, and we can get the Yamahas almost the same. This is Yamaha U3H 1974. There's a very warm tone to it. The touch needs refining straight away. It's not quite as it should be. But that's one of our specialities, is to try and get the touch like a new piano.
And this is the Yamaha U3H 1973. The years don't really matter, it's more down to the individual piano, and they're all reconditioned and hardly used pianos. This is slightly out of tune. I don't think it's been tuned since it came in, but obviously we'll be doing that and refining the piano generally. And this is another Yamaha U3H 1972. Yamaha were very prolific between 1970 and 1980, making over 100,000 pianos a year, and many of them U3s. This is a much lighter touch, interestingly. Well, we're refining it anyway. Very smooth playing. This is a Yamaha U1F, made in 1970. Has a very refined touch, which, as we mentioned before, we do refine the touch of all our Yamahas. They come in not always as refined as they could be, and we try to make them as much like a new piano as possible. Very even tone. Tone right through from treble to bass. This is the Yamaha silent piano P112 NTS, made in Milton Keynes, as a lot of the Yamahas of this age were, 2004. Best periods, really. I say Kemble because they made the piano, but they're excellent pianos. We have Kembles of this age as well, and this is a Yamaha. The silent system allows you to play with headphones too. Now moving on to our unit with smaller pianos, we have the Kawai K15-E. Two of these were ordered up by a school, and we bought a third one. They're wonderful pianos. And this video that I made of them was mentioning the touch as being just as refined as you can imagine it to be, in a very low up weight. So have a look at the video of that to see the explanation. But both touch and tone are very impressed with. This is a Knight K10 1977. We mentioned many times that Knight's one of our preferred makes of small piano, of any piano really. We're particularly fond of Knights. The construction is amazing, and well, there's plenty of videos about that. Just to say, we have always tried to keep Knights in stock. And this is a Knight K6 just come into stock. Very similar to the K10 really. I wouldn't go on the height necessarily, it's down to individual pianos and their tone. Delightful pianos to play. This one is 1967 if you want to identify it, which is older, but it doesn't really make a lot of difference really. 1965 to 1980 is our preferred period for Knights. And this is the more common looking mahogany Knight K10. This was made in 1980, so it's about the last year that you can reliably be sure it's a real Knight. What I mean is by that, you'll see in other videos that it has a continuous pressure bar and no break points, so in the treble, which makes it smoother in the treble, and that's what we're looking for really in the Knights. This is a Zender that occasionally we have a Zender in. Zenders vary hugely. This model of Zender is one of the better ones. Has a sloping keyboard to allow more legroom, which is unusual, but it works fine. The main reason you buy a Zender is because you want a very small piano. This one's made in 1983, has 85 keys by the way, not 88 keys, which is not a problem for practicing and for exams at all really. You never have any problem with exams to have an 85 key keyboard. The touch on this one is excellent, and as I say, there are some Zenders which are very good pianos, and it's extremely small. I think it's probably about 130 centimetres long. I've just checked, that is 132 centimetres long, so this one, the Kemble Compact, Kemble's small, very small pianos is the other one that we try and get in. Well, that's the main one we try and get in, but the good Zender is a good piano. As I say, a bit unusual with the sloping keyboard, but that's to give more legroom. Two pianos here that nearly got away is a Young Chang Part Exchange piano. This is made in 1960. This style usually implies it's bought originally by someone from the Far East, perhaps brought over from Hong Kong or something like that. Well, it's a very good touch. And it's a tall piano, so the bass is good. And we've also got this green frame broadwood that we sold about 20 years ago apparently. It's being worked on. You can see some marks on the hammers where loose hammers have been tightened and so on. But it was reconditioned by us in, well, about 20 years ago and sold back to us and just got back in recently. So I'm pleased to get a green frame broadwood. They're the best of the broadwood, one of the best broadwood uprights. If you're in the trade, you can comment on that. And every bit as good as a German piano, has a different type of sound. This is straight strung, so that means that the strings go straight up and down, which gives you better damping here than when they're overstrung on the small piano. The bottom bass isn't as good as an overstrung, of course, but it's pretty acceptable on this piano. So that's a brief look at our current stock. I just wanted to finish off with this Gebrüder Knacke because I'm very fond of the piano and want to encourage you to rent it. I've got a very low rental on this piano to encourage that because it's a make that's not well known. But I'm sure if you have it, you'll be amazed at the piano if you want a short piano. There were 3 pianos that didn't get on this video because they're not in this location. There are 2 in our storage area, which is a Steinway Model K, wonderful piano, Bechstein Model 8 upright, also a very, very good piano, and also a concert grand piano in one of our concert locations, which is a Yamaha concert grand, fully restored. Let's have a quick listen to this piano. Well, the touch is very pleasing to play. Got some refinement to do on it, but basically a wonderfully designed piano. I hope that's been helpful. If you can have jump links to any of the pianos you're interested in, I'll put them at the bottom of the video. But the purpose of this video, as when the last lockdown came, we had the last lockdown, is to try and encourage you to try pianos out because you can't come in. And if you want to do a video call while we're in front of the piano, that's fine. If you want another video, then that's also fine. So we're keen to turn over the same number of pianos as we usually do. Thank you very much for listening.